What's up, y'all? Toya here, and I am back with another video for y'all. Before we get into the video, make sure you guys either like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. Alright, y'all. So today we are gonna be talking about catering. Now, I've been seeing some comments. Some folks are like, hey, I've been signed up for a while, but I'm not getting any orders. And there are some folks that are like, hey, it's just been slow for me. I get an order every now and then, but ain't nothing really popping off. Well, today we're going to go ahead and talk about how to get more orders. And I'm going to give you guys 5 tips on how to do so. All right, so starting off with tip number 1. Making sure that you are online. Now, some of y'all might be like, Toya, that's kind of self-explanatory. Obviously, I'm online when I want to go ahead and get orders, okay? Let's just take a step back, okay? Let's take a step back. Now, depending on what platforms you're used to doing in the past, most people know that when you're ready to receive orders, you turn yourself online, right? Well, catering is a little bit different. So for most restaurants, if you want to go ahead and submit a catering order request, you have to do it in advance. Very, very rarely can you go ahead and submit a catering order same day. So with that being the case, most of these apps, they're going to be sending these orders a day in advance. Now, yes, on occasion, you might see an order that's coming same day. And most of the time, that's probably because a driver probably dropped the order or they just weren't able to go ahead and get a driver for it. So now it's an urgent order. But I would say a good 80, probably 90% of the orders that you're going to be seeing on these catering apps, they're going to be sent to you the day before. So if you're only turning on your apps when you're ready to go out and take orders, most of the time you might be missing out on them actually sending those orders, which are going to be for the next day. So you pretty much have to remain online all the time, 24/7, if you want to have the best chance of getting orders. I've had some urgent orders sent to me for same day as early as 7, 8, 9 o'clock in the morning, and some orders sent to me for the next day, sometimes 8, 9, or 10 o'clock in the evening. So you have to remain online at all times to increase your chances of getting orders sent to you. Now, moving on to tip number 2, having enough equipment. Now, I'm going to go ahead and use Delivered as an example. Now, it's been almost a year since I've signed up for Delivered. So if anything has changed, please let me know. But when I first signed up, I was told that I didn't need any catering bags starting off. They were going to go ahead and send me these, smaller orders to kind of get used to the platform and everything like that, right? So the only thing I had was my wagon. Of course, you guys have seen my wagon plenty of times, but I didn't have any catering bags, okay? And everything was cool for the most part. Like they said, most of the orders that I was receiving, they were on the smaller scale. And, every now and then I might have to use my wagon. It depends on the restaurant. Sometimes they have bags. Sometimes they put things in boxes. Sometimes they just give you the straight up aluminum trays with the food. It just depends on the restaurant, right? But I was able to go ahead and make it work. Now, once you reach a certain number of deliveries completed, and this does depend on your market, it can be either 5 or 10, they will go ahead and send you a link to order your equipment, and that includes your catering bags. And the moment I received my bags, I started to get bigger and better orders. And that continued and that continued. And then after my 25th delivery, I got even more bags. And I've started to get even bigger orders offered to me. I think the biggest order they've offered to me so far is about $900 worth of food. Now that one I unfortunately didn't take because I already had plans for the next day. But they were definitely true to their word in saying that the more bags that you have, the bigger the orders you're going to be receiving. And the same can be said for most platforms. They're only going to go ahead and send you orders that you can handle. So if you don't have the necessary equipment or the bags or anything like that, why would they go ahead and send you orders with nearly $1,000 worth of food if you can't handle it? So you got to make sure that you have the appropriate equipment to handle those orders, and the apps will go ahead and send you bigger and better orders. All right, moving on to tip number 3, move around. Now, these apps work off of your location. So if you're in an area that really doesn't have too much going on, you're probably not going to get too many orders. Here's another example on Delivered. Now, when I first signed up for Delivered, I pretty much stayed in my normal area where I normally do my deliveries, right? And, I didn't really think too much about it. I wasn't really getting orders, but I was like, hey, I got another app under my belt, and if something comes through, cool. And it was kind of slow for a bit, and then I finally did get my first order but it definitely took me a little bit before I got that order. Now, my husband, for some reason, he decided he wanted to sign up while he was downtown. And once he got approved and everything, he was getting orders left and right. He was literally at work one day and he was like, yo, I got like 6, 7, 8 different orders sent to me. So your location definitely matters. And even to this day, you know, if I'm traveling to visit family or if I'm visiting friends and, you know, I'm like 20, 30 miles away from where I normally do my deliveries, I will start getting notifications for orders that are available in my area. And depending on the order, you know, I might take it, especially if I'm going to be out in that area the next day anyway. So yeah, sometimes you might have to go ahead and move around to other locations because your particular area, it might not really have many orders available to you. So if you're willing to go ahead and do a little traveling, you know, step outside your comfort zone, you might have some success and start getting more orders. And as you get more orders, that's just going to lead to more success, which also leads me to tip number 4, accept more orders. Now, before anybody says anything, no, I am not trying to say accept every single order that's offered to you. Like, you know, this is DoorDash and you're trying to get, you know, top dash or platinum or whatever. It's nothing like that at all whatsoever. Okay. You're still going to want to go ahead and take the orders that make sense to you. Okay. But yes, accepting more orders does give you an advantage because the more orders you accept, the more orders they're going to send you. It's simple math, honestly. Why would these platforms continue to send you orders if you're not taking anything? If you're that inactive, they're just going to assume you don't want to work on the platform. So they're not going to send you anything. So yeah, the more, the better. Now, again, like I said before, you're still taking orders that make sense to you. Now, the best thing about catering is with a majority of these orders, you know, the amount of driving that you're going to have to be completing is relatively low in comparison to the pay that you're receiving. You know, delivered, they're going to give you a minimum of $20 no matter what. If the customer doesn't tip, they go ahead and make that up for you. So you still get a pretty good deal on most orders. And no, not to say that every single order that you're going to see is great. You know, you pick up what works for you. There have been times when I picked up orders that didn't have a tip and Deliver made up for it. And, you know, it wasn't that bad of a payout considering the mileage I have to drive. You know, I might only have to drive 4 miles, but I receive 30, 35 bucks for it. And on the other hand, you know, there might be some smaller orders. I've had orders with like $250 worth of food, but I got like a $45 tip. So there's definitely a lot of pros in the catering scene. But like I said, the more orders you take, the better. But at the end of the day, just make sure that the orders you're taking are making sense for you and they're fitting into your schedule. So you're still the most profitable here. All right. And moving on to the last tip, tip number 5, get more apps. Now, if you've been tuning in to me for a bit, you know that most of the catering orders that I've showcased are going to be from Delivered and Deliver That. But these are not the only apps that are out there. There's another app that I had signed up for. It was called Zifty, but it didn't really work out for me because one, most of the orders, they were going to be towards the downtown area in the city. And I typically don't really like going downtown for one. And two, a lot of the orders were multiple pickups and multiple deliveries in a single order. So for the payout and the amount of driving that I had to do to get to the location in the first place to do the pickups, it just didn't make sense for me. So I ended up just uninstalling that app. But it might be an app that'll work out for you depending on where you're located and how it operates in your market. There are other apps that I've heard about only to find out that they aren't in my market. But the only thing you really got to do is just do your research. Do a quick Google search, catering apps in my area. And I'm pretty sure you can find a ton of apps that'll go ahead and work in your area. And on top of those dedicated catering apps, there are some other apps that do offer catering services. Like for instance, DoorDash has catering options. And I had also showcased a catering order that I did on the Skip Cart app. There's plenty of options for you guys. You know, I would rather have too many apps with too many orders being sent to me than just having a dry phone and I'm just sitting there like, man, you know, I wish I can get me an order. So you can never have too many apps in your arsenal. You know, I'm always preaching to go ahead and add more apps because, you know, the more the better, the more the better. So yeah, guys, that's pretty much it. So yeah, those are my tips in order to go ahead and get more catering orders under your belt. Do you guys have any other tips to get more catering orders? Let me know in the comments. Now, before I go, I have to remind you guys to leave a like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you do not miss a video. But I'm gonna go ahead and get up out of here, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'm gonna catch you guys on the next one. And as always, stay safe out there and keep grinding.